Now, how much of this recent success do you attribute to getting off social media? Is that happening because of, or alongside of, or is it a coincidence, or is it cause and effect?
If I'm being completely honest, I think that from my career, from my body, from my relationship with Jasmine, my relationship with my family, my relationship with my daughters, I don't think any of that is in the place it's in today if I'm still on social media. I think that just from being someone who's been off it for 6 months now,
you're cold turkey off.
I don't Well, I have a guy who runs it, so I understand.
Sure.
Like, it's fortunate to do that. I know not everyone can do that, but I can do that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to pay a guy to do it. But what I did was I said I'm not going to pay him to do it and then still have access to it. I basically pressed the destroy button. I said,
you don't change the password. Don't tell me.
I don't have it. I don't. Really? I have zero. So what I have a family Instagram account that's private that's got 30 followers. All my friends and family. All I'm seeing is my children, their children. Like, it's what.
So you still get the you're on because sometimes I think about what would I literally do if I didn't have the app on my phone.
What I do with that is, and I've been good with it, is I check it once a day, either in the morning or the night. You get to check it once, and what I do is just whatever. I'll give myself maybe like 90 seconds. I check my account, but I'm as if I'm a fan. I have no access to it, just to make sure that whatever I told him was posted was spelled right, the links are working, whatever.
You're not just sitting there reading
for a
comments
business. Not once. No DMs.
That's the name of the game.
There's no way to get in touch with me unless you're my friend or family or you have my number.
Smart way to go.
So I've cut off. I think I would carry around that energy of something some stranger said online, whether it be positive or negative. It would affect my personality in a negative or positive way. And now I only take criticism, or I only take anything, whether it's positive or negative, from someone who I'm actually in their physical presence. I believe like social media is like another realm that I don't have anything to do with anymore. So it doesn't affect me, because a lot of people say, the one thing I've learned, the one thing I felt is I hear a lot of people saying, man, I wish you would go back in time, or like even with this my Super Maximum Retro show, a lot of the people will be like, man, life was so much better back then. The 90s, it was so much better. And I live in the 90s because I'm not on social media. When you're off social media, you're like, oh, it's the same as it was 20 years ago. It doesn't matter. There's no real problems. It doesn't. There's no race. Fuck shit. There's no violence. It's just
political bullshit.
Everything's just no political bullshit. Yeah, there are problems, and if it happens to you in your physical space, then you deal with it.
Right, but it's not
a lot of the shit you're seeing and feeling
Yeah.
has nothing to do with you.
Totally.
But you're making your identity, and I learned that, and I feel like that's because a lot of times I would not only compare myself to others, but I would compare myself to me. I would compare me to me, and both those things would depress me, because you would forget that either you're seeing someone who you believe is better than you, or you're seeing yourself 6 months ago that you think is a better version of yourself, because you forget that you have the perfectly crafted picture or video or statement, whatever you did. And now I literally just compare myself to yesterday, and that thing of like just trying to get better day by day. That's what I do. And dude, I think I weigh 210 pounds. I haven't weighed that since fucking I was 20 years old.
Right.
So it's just, and
But
feel good.
So like,
Yeah.
you're taking a car somewhere. You're stuck in traffic.
Right.
You got your phone. What do you do?
So
sit there?
What I found myself doing more in the car, because I think there is and I don't think even 6 months is not long enough, because I would always be like, those dopamine hits like on social media. What are people saying? What I do now is I realize like I'll be driving for 10, 15 minutes, get bored, and instead of checking the phone, I call somebody.
Just talking.
Yeah,
Which God. Yeah. I have to get better at just having alone, at just being comfortable being alone. I'm not there yet, but I think it's better than Instagram.
Crazy. Sitting around listening to your own thoughts is crazy. Nobody could do that.
Yeah. I mean, getting off Twitter, I think, has had the most positive impact, because once in a while, my social media guy will just show me, he'll be like, dude, like, it's just like crazy, like the experiments, like I'll have the same post, one on TikTok, one on Instagram, one on Twitter, and you'll see all the negative on Twitter, mostly positive actually on Instagram, and then TikTok is usually a little bit in between. A lot of it is bots, but it's weird how, and then Facebook is almost all positive.
Really?
Yeah, Facebook is like exclusively positive.
No shit.
And so
I get
you're
back
like,
on that shit.
So you're like, wow, like this is like, there's people that go around and they make like this their identity. They're not even living in reality. Like it's a different, like I truly believe, I'm sure you guys have said this before on the show, I truly believe the way we look at cigarettes 50 years ago is the way we'll look at social media.
Dude, like literally exact that comparison I use.
Like, and my daughter, she's 7 now, she doesn't, social media is not cool to kids anymore. They see what it's doing to what it did to their parents or older siblings. And
my kids are always like, put the phone down. You know,
I was saying that
it's actually very depressing when your kid says that to you.
I know.
It cuts to your core.
Yeah. Because like and you just think about like your relationship with your parents. Anything your parents did was uncool. So kids are growing up and seeing you. You're like, that's a fucking. You guys use social media. You guys are on your phones all the time. Yeah. That's fucking. It's like how I saw my dad reading the newspaper. Right. I'm like, dude, that's fucking lame, dude. All you do is you read 7 newspapers a day.
And Louis C.K. came on my Chrissy Chaos podcast and gave me great advice. It's a specific comedy, but I think it can apply to real life. He was like, you don't want to be king of the algorithm. That's the last thing you want in your life. He said, because what are you doing? If you're putting out a version of yourself that's feeding this algorithm that is just this fucking equation in the sky that's not real, that's not a human being, what you're going to do is, maybe it'll go viral, maybe that'll sell you more tickets, maybe that'll get you more accolades, but it will be that version of yourself that you've made the algorithm like, not that you may not like that version of yourself, but the algorithm likes, so that's what you put out. So then when the people come and see you at your show, they're going to want to see that algorithm version of you. And if you give them the real you, and they may be like, oh, this guy sucks.
Bro, not to mention, they also just flip the algorithm. And then what?
Yeah, that's
they change the algorithm. Like, I mean, that's that.
I was just saying, we get emails all the time from like our social team being like, dude, like our social, Gaz, our social like head, and it's like, now this has changed, now this has changed. And I've never done it. And I like to use that in my head as a crutch, where like I'm doing it because I'm real to me. I'm doing it because like they changed the algorithm. Well, if we're being honest with each other, I'm doing it because I'm lazy and I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But there is a part of it.
It ends up becoming Drew. Like after the fact. I mean, we've been doing it for 15 years.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 15 years. Dave's been doing it for like 25 years. Twitter, social media, all that shit came in around like what? I think
29,
I think like 7, 8, 9. We were on it like 9, 10, 11, whatever. And since then, they've added apps. They've changed the rules.
Yeah.
They what you can say, what you can't do, and we've always played by their rules. And I mean, I personally, I get everything you're saying, and I think it's great. We also like are on the internet, and for me to like completely cut it out, I think would almost be like cutting out work for me. So like I think
you could put a barrier up.
Yeah, totally. I need to have like rules to it. Yeah. But I'm like, I think there's a balance of like, if you're gonna be successful in the modern world, you probably got to play by the rules a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, when you're like, you can't say this anymore, you can't say that anymore. It's like, well, what are we gonna be able to say? Like, what's left to say?
Well, I think now what's happening though is
they have to blur out every curse word now.
Because the algorithm.
I was thinking about that. Even
they have to sit there and blur out every fucking time we say fuck.
I told a story the other day about like when I had to put our dog down and it was whatever. But anyway, I posted the clip and I was like thinking, I was like, well, I can't say kill, I can't say this.
Yeah,
like,
you can't say
so goddamn fucking stupid. This is not how I talk. Right. FYI, you're putting your dog down. Like, fuck you. That's not how I talk. It doesn't sound like me.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid.
Well, I thought, and when I got off social media, I thought, I said to myself, even if this affects my ticket sales, even if this affects my career, it's good for me, it's good for my family, I'm going to do it. But it's actually just been the opposite. The career's been like...
Well, you've also been, I think to be fair, I think you did it at a point where like you're good, you're set.
Yeah, yes,
like Hey Babe and Chrissy Chaos are cruising. Like there's really no slowing you down right now.
Yeah, well, but I think that I just thought...
Put it this way, if you're like a young up-and-comer right now, and you really want to make it, you probably got to play by the rules a little bit.
I think
unless you are supremely talented, and everybody word of mouth is gonna like, you know what I mean? Like you.
I think it's like any addiction though, like or any illness where you think about it like. I mean, and a million comics have told the story before where if you're depressed and you think like if I get better maybe I won't be funny. Yeah. If you're an alcoholic and you're like if I cut this out maybe I won't have like I won't be as funny. Like all these things I won't be as successful. And you're like, oh, this is like my essence. This is what it is. And it's like no, it's a problem. And
you know what
fix
happens?
It.
You know what
and you'll be a totally different person that maybe
which will make you better. Which makes you better.
That's why I feel blessed to have like a family because like being a comic is like the third or fourth thing about who I am as a human being. It's